Well, all the data being collected on journalists to create the deep fakes and everything else. You know, the artificial intelligence is meant to find things that we're not aware of. You know, that's the whole point of AI.
Artificial intelligence.
We have an article here from cosmosmagazine.com, and this kind of goes in line with the whole black cube or dark cube concept as well. Artificial intelligence tool swings into action, discovering alternative physics variables. Whoa, kind of a big deal. An artificial intelligence tool has examined physical systems and, not surprisingly, found new ways of describing what it found. How do we make sense of the universe? There's no manual. There's no prescription. At its most basic, physics helps us understand the relationships between observable variables. These are things we can measure: velocity, energy, mass, position, angles, temperature, charge. Some variables, like acceleration, can be reduced to more fundamental variables. These are all variables in physics which shape our understanding of the world. These variables are bound together through equations. Then it talks about, E equals mc squared. There's nothing sacred about our choice of variable. The variables in mathematics we choose have stood the test of time as the ones that make sense for a given theory or physical system. But what if we were to find other physical variables to solve the same problems? It wouldn't change the problem or the solution, but it might give us new insights into the inner workings of the universe and accelerate scientific discovery. Now, an artificial intelligence tool developed at Columbia University in New York has done just that. The result of the experiments are published in Nature Computational Science. Roboticists at Columbia Engineering developed an AI program to review raw video data and search for the minimal set of fundamental variables that fully describe the observable physical dynamics of the system, the swinging of a pendulum. To test their AI, the team first showed the tool videos of a phenomenon for which they already knew the answer. The double pendula can be described with exactly 4 state variables: the angle and angular velocity of each of the 2 arms. After staring at the video for a few hours, the AI gave its answer for the number of variables in the system: 4.7. Quote, "We thought this answer was close enough," says senior author Hod Lipson, director of the Creative Machines Lab in Columbia University's Department of Mechanical Engineering. Quote, "Especially since all the AI had access to was raw video footage without any knowledge of physics or geometry, which we wanted to know what the variables actually were, not just their number," end quote. So the next challenge was to try and visualize the variables that the AI had identified. This was not easy, as the program does not describe the variables in language intuitive to humans. The researchers did, however, correlate 2 of the variables to the angles of each pendulum's arm. Quote, We tried correlating the other variables with anything and everything we can think of: angular and linear velocities, kinetic and potential energy, and various combinations of known quantities," explains lead author Boyan Chen, now an assistant professor at Duke University. Quote, "Nothing seemed to match perfectly." Boyan Chen, now an assistant professor at Duke University, says the team tried correlating other variables with anything. Okay, they just said that. Confident that the AI's good predictions of the dynamics of the system meant it found a valid set of 4 variables, the team was puzzled as to what the others might be. Quote, "We don't yet understand the mathematical language it is speaking," Chen says. Isn't that good? That's a good sign that our scientists are like, we don't understand what they're saying. They found other variables to physics, but it's not making sense to us. Oh boy. Still, oops, I think I went to the wrong thing. Sorry about that. Still, the AI returned good calculations on other physical systems with known solutions. Already confused, what would the team have to lose by showing the AI something for which there isn't a known answer? The article goes on here and talks about the experiment, but
this is very interesting. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting aspects to it. The fact that all they did was just show it a video and it sort of, came up with aspects of physics just by watching a video is pretty incredible on its face. But then to find 0.7 of a 70% of a new variable that physics people have never heard of or figured out before. Maybe the AI is seeing some sort of spiritual variable floating around that nobody else can see.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the idea here with everything happening with the UFO stuff. I think certain technologies being prepared at some level to be released. And in order to do that, you got to have the science match it, so they got to work out the science and the math equations before they have products.
That is very interesting.
I think that's kind of where we're going.
AI continuing to, I don't know, just intuit things.
Set the precedence of
deeper
everything. Yeah.
More, there's more mysterious things than human scientists have even, been able to scratch the surface of. And these AIs just kind of, whether they're just making it up or it's an error or something, I don't know, who knows. But it also is a very compelling case that things are going on within the AI that are completely foreign to sort of the human mind there.
Yeah. So we'll keep track of all that stuff that as it continues to release the science, the science becoming really science fiction is really what's happening. It's no longer science fiction. It's just normal science, I guess. But the AI really throwing a wrench in all kinds of established science, math, whatever it may be. So there you go.
Okay.